Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing tonight? What is it? What is it? What it is? You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know. Mike Swagger, aka the one. I had to look over here to make sure I was pointing in the right direction. Y'all already know Mike Swagger. Listen on Spotify. Listen on Apple Music. We right here. And I'm gonna do some more questions for you guys about artists and just the industry and everything like that. So unfortunately, I got some bad news today. I have to move in a very short amount of period of time, and I don't. It's nobody's fault. However, I wish the situation would have been brought to me sooner. Whether that would have made a big difference, and how I have to move, that's irrelevant, right? You know what I mean? But so. Anyway, the point is I want to do some more questions for artists and get this thing chopped up and get it all ready for when I do move. There does look like there's a situation where I'll be able to record. So you guys, I definitely want to get some music done. That's one of the things that I have been waiting on and hoping on and working towards. And I feel like, I keep being in situations to where I can't do that, and it really sucks because I feel that the type of music that I do and the type of music that I bring, or the type of feeling that I bring when I do music, it gets everybody excited. And even though I'm not one of those artists on the major stage, even though I should be right now, I'm not one of those artists on major stages right now. When I do music, people listen. They listen to what's going on. They listen to what I'm saying. They like the style. They love the style, and I get a lot of interest from, industry people, whether it's DJs, executives, whatever it is, I get a lot of love from that. So, I want to, so I'm happy about, the potential place that I'm moving. It's just, we'll see. We'll see. I never count my chickens before they hatch. However, I do want to do these questions, and so we can have some content to chop up and put out for you guys, and make sure that this stuff is rolling. Early next year, boom, 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 and getting us to some virality during the summertime. That's what I'm shooting for. So if you guys like what I'm doing, man, if you like my music, man, please hit that follow button. Hit that, please hit that follow button, and please hit that follow button. Subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Of course, we're going to be starting new channels and everything like that. Because honestly, I did a new channel, and, millions of views don't always, they don't always equate millions of followers. And nobody talks about that. So I started a new page on Instagram, and it was called Comedy Reactions. And when I did that page, I just did my second or third reaction. I got 2.3 million views on it, probably more than that. And then for some reason it got taken down. So I got millions of views on that, and I still had under 200 followers. So millions of views don't necessarily mean millions of followers, right? However, when you're starting a new channel, you do have the opportunity with no algorithm to really go viral more than most people, especially if it's a topic or it's content that can relate to a lot of people. So that's why we're gonna do it. We're gonna start a bunch of new channels, and we're gonna make it happen. But no talking about it. Let's just do it. Okay, so where we left off we left off on talking about why you don't need a label at first as an artist, and I'll touch back on that real quick, which was basically, man, the game is set up now for you to do it yourself. The game is really set up right now for you to go out there, get the money, do the work, and get it yourself, right? If you believe in yourself that much, you don't really need the labels right now. The labels are pretty much the not even the end game anymore. It depends on how you want to live. If you want to be that person that's got that chain on their neck, then sure, then you need a label, and in some capacity, they can block you from reaching a certain level of success, unless you sign with them, right? They can go behind doors and make sure those doors don't open, and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, everybody takes money. So whether you got to take the long way or the short way, that's up to you. But there's plenty of ways to get your music done and put out, right? So if you're able, like I believe what I was talking about was, if you have a great credit score and you have a good bank account and you have some great relationship with that bank account, you can get business credit. Most labels aren't going to, especially if they don't know you like that, most labels don't want to give you more than like 150 grand, 200 grand, like most times you're not walking in and, oh, well, here's $1 million. I mean, if you have that following and everything, great. But generally, they're probably not going to offer you $2 million, $1 million. They're going to say, hey, well, we can give you like 200 grand and let's see what you can do with that. Go get an album done, because things don't cost that much no more. Go get an album done, go shoot some videos, go get some features, and, let's see what happens, right? So that's something that you can do for yourself if you have the right situation, or you have angel investors that have that type of, credit history and bank history, or something to borrow against, and they really believe in you. That's something that you can do for 0% interest, versus going into a record label and they're like, okay, well, we want 85% recoup on this, and we want half of your life, and yada yada yada. We want all these albums, and okay, so you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. And then also another reason why you don't want to do that is because when you have some skin in the game, as we call it in the investment world, when you have some skin in the game, then people see that you got money, that you put money towards it, and they want some. They want to be a part of it. They want to, oh, well, okay, well, he's getting money, and and even if it's facade, but you got that bank money, and you on there, you got your stacks, and you're showing the lifestyle. And that's what a lot of these influencers do now. They took the rap model and used it for courses. These influencers, like you see them in Miami everywhere, and they're making a bunch of money. They took the rap model and used it for courses. And that rap model is show people that I got money, which they don't have most of the time until they get it, right? But show people I have money, get some loans, borrow some money, rent a car, rent this, rent that, and act like I have money, and tell people they need to be like me and to buy what I got. And that is exactly the rap model. That's how rap has been done for a long time. Rappers were not getting money, and a lot of them still aren't getting money, but they pretend like they're getting money so people want to be like them. And the reason why they did that, it was the illusion to get younger kids to start trying to rap and rap their way out of the hood, instead of going to college and becoming a doctor and a lawyer and all of those things. That's the rap model, right? So you don't have to do that. You can actually have good credit and all that stuff. You don't have to rap your way out the hood. Like, I mean, if you want to rap, if you want to write songs, but you don't have to wait for a label to pick you up anymore. That's my point. You can get your own distribution through places like CD Baby, TuneCore, United Masters. You can find your own PR team. You can go out there and market, or pay a street team. You can go go meet DJs, go network, do all that stuff yourself, man. Do your own TikToks, do your own videos. Like, I mean, there's a ton of information out there. Okay, so I don't want to go too much on that because I've been going on a while. But the next question is quick hacks to improve your songwriting. So I would say a quick hack is, number one, if you want to write a hit song, somebody's got to feel something, right? Most people write songs and they're the only ones who feel anything from it. it's too. I don't want to say it's too personal. That's not. No, it's not too personal. But basically, you're writing it for yourself, and that's okay. However, somebody else has to feel an emotion out of that. Somebody has to be able to smile. They have to be able to laugh. They have to be able to cry. They have to be able to, shout and be angry. Like, you have to evoke an emotion out of the person listening to the record. If you can't do that, you ever had a record that you listened to and it gave you the chills and you was like, ooh. Like, it's the melody, it's the way the singer is harmonizing, it's the lyrics, and you're like, wow, like this makes me feel good. This makes me want to dance. This makes me want to shout. This makes me want to cry. Oh my God, I miss this person. Oh my God, I love this person. Oh my God, I hate this person. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. But so a quick songwriting hack is if you want to write a hit song, make sure that you evoke an emotion. And another thing is make sure the song is not too repetitive. Now, I know there's a space in there for repetitive music, and some people want their songs to repeat and say the same thing over and over again. Whatever. Some people like it, some people don't, and sometimes it's you can make it like tasteful, and sometimes it's trash. So me personally, I say if you can stay away from the repetitiveness, better. It's better for the song to tell a story, right? Not just in the lyrics, but in the arrangement. So in the arrangement, you're talking about, you have, say it comes in with an intro, then it goes into the hook. This is like, okay, so my song College Girls, right? So it comes in from an intro, then a short verse, then a hook, then a verse, then a hook, then a verse, then a hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even though it did like that, and it got a little repetitive, I did also make sure I arranged the verses to where they were exciting. So like, I had the short verse, and I went into that, to my verse, right? So it's my short verse and then my other short verse, and then a hook, and then you have a very, very boring verse and everything like that, because people are like, whoa, and then a hook, and then the one that kind of calms them down, and then it goes out, right? And then it has like a outro with the singer doing her thing. So that is what I mean by making sure the song stays exciting. For instance, my song "You're My Ecstasy," we have the verse comes in, and then, or actually it has the hook come in, then the verse, and then you have a bridge, and then you have the hook, then you have the verse, then you have the bridge, then you have the hook. So the song is constantly changing, and people can fall in love with different parts of the song. So it's not just like, okay, I got a verse, then I got a hook, then I got a verse. Because, yeah, they can fall in love with the verse, but probably not. Like they'll fall in love with parts of the verse. But when you have those hooks, those bridges, those intros, those, those are the parts where people are like, oh, yeah, that part. And they memorize that part because it's short, but it's straight to the point, and it's sweet, right? So that's my quick hacks on that. Why every artist needs a viral moment. I mean, I feel like every artist needs a viral moment at this point, because it's what's going to make or break your career. If you don't have a viral moment, and depending on the viral moment you had, the viral moment I had was not good. I got caught up getting into it with some dude and throwing his cleaning tools all over the place. I was so mad, man. This dude tried to press me. And anyway, I ended up getting like millions of views on that. Ended up on Grindface TV. I probably ended up on KCal9. I don't know. But anyway, point is, I'm throwing this dude's stuff all over the place, man. And I was mad. He like jumped from my car and then came to my car and was like running his mouth. And I like jumped out on him. And I just I couldn't let it go, man. And I was hyped up on an energy drink. I was hyped up on a rainstorm energy drink. And I was so hyped. I was just like, woo, and I just couldn't let it go. And anyway, it ended up getting filmed and put online. And I ended up getting a lot of views that I didn't want. which wasn't good for my career. However, and sometimes it does work for your career. I don't think I played it well. I think I apologized when I shouldn't have. I should have just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know what I mean? Holla at me, you know? But so, but anyway, point is every artist needs a viral moment, but just make sure it's a good one, and you just have to work for it, man. You got to work for it, and you have to think outside the box. But like they say, it's all consistency, and that's what we're doing right here. We're doing it consistent. I'm not into going and doing, you know, weird pranks or you know, you can do content. I will be doing like some street content and things like that down the road. However, I feel that it's really up to you. It's really up to you. Again, like I said before, doing like the freestyles and stuff online, I just don't feel like that does anything for artists. I don't, you know, the getting on and sharing your music to these music review people, it's not going to make you go viral. And half the time they don't know what they're doing anyway. They just want your $10. If they can get, you know, 10 of you guys to send them $10 a day, they're making $100 a day, and they're sitting in their mom's basement, you know, just like Shade 45. And I love Eminem, man. Like that's the artist that really pushed me to start writing and start penning, and you know, and really keeps me on my pen game. You know, I'm like, man, like that you know, the setups and the drops and like all that stuff is crazy. But also, I don't really like the people that, you know, at least that on TikTok, the people that represent them. I played them "You're My Ecstasy," which I know is a hot song, and you know, they dogged it out, and I was just like, bro, I said, y'all don't even know. And then they went and play some trash. You know, they wouldn't play some trash that's like, you know, every other hood song, but just sounded like garbage. And it was like, oh, that's hot, and I'm just like, y'all are so in the master boy mind state. You know what I mean? Y'all can't even think outside of what you listening to right now. You just, run them up, do that, and you know, draw down on them, and you, oh my God, that's the greatest thing since sliced cheese. Like, no respect for that. You know, no respect at all. Like, give an opportunity to art, to artists, to art. Give an opportunity to art. It's like, as soon as you don't hear exactly what you want to hear, it's trash. Like, get out of it, you know what I mean? No respect for that at all, you know? But no shade towards Eminem, or no shade towards Shade. But that people on, those people on TikTok doing Shade 45, lots of shade. How to turn one song into multiple TikToks. So, I guess I have done that. I did that with Ass Juice, my Joey Badass diss, and y'all can check that out. I just turned it into, you know, I turned it into a, like clips, right? So I found a bunch of people sea walking, and it just went with it very well. So, you know, I'm like, I can't sea walk because I'm not a Crip. So, so I turned into a bunch of clips of that. Also, I did a teaser video. Also, I did, you know, uploads of the song, little pieces of the song, things like that, you know. And I don't know if I did any like reaction videos of people like listening to it. I should have told people to send me a reaction video or something like that, but you know, I didn't do that. But that's another way, you know, tell people to send you reaction videos. Hey man, like, listen to my song, just react to it, and just, you know, first time, I just need you to record yourself. Don't play it before you listen to it. You know, just put it on and react to it. That's it. That's all I would like from you. You know, as my friend, as a person who follows me, you know, please just turn on the song, videotape yourself listening to it for the first time, and then you put that actual reaction up on your social media and see what happens. Why shouldn't you chase trends? That's a good one for me. So why shouldn't you chase trends? Because they die. Simple and plain. Like, you know, because if you chase trends, you'll be chasing trends for the rest of your life. Be a trendsetter. You know what I mean? Be a trendsetter. That's it. Like, at the end of the day, you know, I've always jumped on trends after they were done. Like, I'm late. I'm late. I'm here now. You know, okay, oh, that's what's hot. Okay, now I'm here. What's up? and just kind of getting the last remnants of that and making it hot again. But yeah, you don't want to chase trends because number one, you just look like a follower. You look like you don't have any thoughts of your own. It's really corny, to be honest. I mean, I think trend chasing right now is corny. Like, I don't care if it's a TikTok trend. It's corny. Period. And yeah, they'll get you some views and all that stuff, but guess what? You're on to the next trend, right? You got to chase the next trend. Instead of you created a trend, now everybody's doing your trend, and you got 80 billion views, and you know everybody's asking you how you came up with it, right? So wouldn't it make sense to take time to like learn to start trends, or take time to think of new trends to create versus chasing trends to get, you know, the little bit of video views and the followers you can get? Because again, it does not last. It's like when somebody's doing a video and it's, you know, got this sound behind it and everybody's using it. Great. You're just another video that somebody used it. Maybe you got a bunch of views on it. Maybe you got a bunch of followers, but you got to go get the next trend. And so if that's the case, then, you know, that's what you're doing. You're a trend follower. Be a trend setter. And that way, you know, people start asking you how you do what you do. That way people start, you know, clipping your videos and using your sound 100 million times. And then you're like, oh man, you're the dude who created that sound. Yes, I am. You learn how to create trends, and then you start learning how to create money with it, right? The importance of staying authentic. I mean, that's one of the most important things. And it's tough in today's world to do that because there is so much competition out there, and there is so much influence for you to follow trends again, right? And so being yourself doesn't really, like, people feel like it's not attractive. Oh, I gotta be somebody else, right? I gotta be this person. And if you're already in a situation, so I dealt with this with Mike Swagger, right? Which is me. However, my name is Dwayne. So I dealt with this for a while because it's like I started forgetting who I was, right? As I was going through stuff, and you know, I'm trying to get back on the level, and I'm getting disrespected, and I'm like, man, like, but I don't want to lose all the rest of my people, and you know, and I'm like, I don't want to trip on everybody. I trip on everybody, and they run away, and you know, and so I'm starting to take disrespect, which I don't do, and I'm like, wait, hold on, you know, like, you know, who am I? Like, and I'm trying to remember who Mike Swagger is. And it didn't dawn on me until I say, no, I'm not trying to figure out who Mike Swagger is. I'm trying to figure out who Dwayne is. Dwayne made Mike Swagger. The way Dwayne thought, the way Dwayne moved, right? Created Mike Swagger. The way my arrogance was, the way Dwayne's arrogance was. The way he danced, the way he talked, the way he moved, created Mike Swagger. Because other people saw that and said, damn, that's Swagger. So I can't be authentic being Mike Swagger. I had to learn how to be myself again, if that makes sense. And so my my advice to you is, if you are in entertainment and you're, you know, portraying yourself as a stage name or something like that, you have a character, don't forget who created that character. Sometimes we get so involved with the character that we forget the authenticity and the person in ourselves, the person who we really are truly deep down inside, who created that image. You understand what I'm saying? So authenticity is super important. Don't forget that. Don't be fake. Don't be a liar. Don't, you know, get out here, you know, shucking and jiving. Just be out there, be authentic. Say what's on your mind, and you know, I mean, unless it's like something you got to keep secret, you know, for you know, business purposes or whatever reason. But you know, other than that, just be authentic. You know, don't put on no show for nobody unless they paying you. You know what I'm saying? How to set small goals as an artist. So, how to set small goals as an artist? One of the things I would say do is set objectives, right? So if you want to accomplish something, write down what you want to accomplish, write down the steps it's going to take to get there, set a date, set dates. A lot of people don't have dates. They just like, oh, well, you know, I want to do this by this time, like, or not by this time, like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. But they have no date. They have no objective. The date gives you pressure, right? The date is like, man, okay, like, I got to get this done by this time. And so throughout the, you know, whole time, like, before that date, you're like, okay, what do I got to do to get to that? But if you're just like, hey, I just want to, you know, I want to drop an album. And they're like, well, when do you want to drop an album? I don't know. I'm just, you know, thinking about dropping an album. I'm going to drop an album sometime, though. So we don't know when it's coming. We don't know when you're going to be working on it. And you have no idea what it's called. How the hell you going to drop an album? You got to, you know, hey, yeah, I want to drop an album next month. Or next year, June 19th. It's called the 10th of June. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. You know? And so, you know, I need to get features. I need to find some video people. I need to figure out who my PR team is going to be. You know, and so now you have these goals. Now you have small objectives to reach the goal. Right? Okay, this is what I need to do, and I need to do this by this date, I need to do this by this date, I need to talk to these people, and this is how we're going to make it happen. If you do not do that, you won't accomplish much. You're going to keep talking and keep dreaming. Okay, why dropping more music helps you grow faster? Why dropping more music helps you grow faster? I don't think that it does, to be honest. I think maybe it used to, kind of like Spotify or like TikTok. It used to be like, oh, drop a song every week and you'll blow up, and you know, now you're in an algorithm. And it probably was like that. It probably was like, okay, like now you're in an algorithm, and maybe it still will work. But dropping a song a week is not an easy task of quality. Now, if you're a super producer and you know how to, you know, drop a quality song a week, I mean, go for it. I mean, or unless you're using AI like Suno or something like that, and it's very easy to just drop a song a week and just throw it in an algorithm, hey, sure, man, do it. But I would say more than dropping, you know, a lot of songs, make sure you're dropping a lot of videos. You know, make sure you're dropping. And I mean, hey, listen, even if you're dropping a lot of songs and distributing them on TikTok, there's a way that, you know, there's a possibility that it gets picked up, right? So I'm not saying that don't do it, but it's all about the algorithm. It's all about getting it to catch, right? So I would say, you know, focus on the quality and, you know, at least maybe release like, if you could release like 5 to 10 songs a year, but really making sure you're doing a ton of content for those songs, I think you can still have the same success as somebody who's like, well, I'm going to drop 100 songs. Because, I mean, that's ridiculous. 100 songs for what? You know, for what? Like, what could you really say in that 100 songs? I mean, the best songwriter, yeah, probably could write 100 songs in a year, but they're all going to, that's why music all sounds the same. Because what can you really say so different from your perspective 100 times in 1 year? Right? So, let me see. Why dropping? Okay, let me see. The simplest way to get more streams. I would say, you know, the simplest way to get more streams is obviously, you know, platforms like TikTok. Playlists still work. However, there's so much like botting on it now. I don't really feel that it's a viable way to get any real fans. You know, it looks good, but I mean, once you pop up to the show and there's nobody there, like, okay, yeah, you got 100,000 streams, but there's nobody at the show. So, I would say probably just content. You know, the best way to get streams. Just more content, going out there talking to people and filming it and really making it happen that way. People say reach out to like micro influencers and stuff like that. I guess you could do that. That's possible. But really, man, just thinking outside the box. Like, in order to get streams, everybody's fighting for music attention, and music is not really heavily. I don't even think it's the top pastime anymore. I think people are scrolling more than they're listening to music, to be honest. And even as I've been on TikTok lately, I have not seen a lot of music-driven content lately. Funny enough, I have not seen a lot of. Normally, TikTok used to be a ton of music-driven content. Not anymore. Not anymore. I don't see a lot of music-driven content, to be honest. So just make sure you're thinking outside the box, man, and be ready to get out there and talk to people. Get out there and talk to people and film your own content and start trends and start challenges and things like that. I mean, other than that, like, you're competing in, it's a needle in a haystack. So just keep going though. What to do if your music isn't performing? If your music isn't performing, I would say you start performing. Your live performances are the biggest key to getting to the next level. And people don't always care how many streams you have. Let me just tell you that right now. People don't always care that you have 1 million streams. Now, when you get to the part where they're talking about the bag, sure, yes, they care about that, but you better make sure that they're real and that it's not some facade that you can't get to the next level. You understand what I'm saying? You better make sure that it's real and that it's not a facade that you can't get to the next level. Because if they start talking about, okay, well, you got 1 million followers, whoop, and it's not real, then you're screwed. So, the best way to start to build that, like, even if you do have, everybody got a little bit of body, get out there and start performing. And make sure your performance is dope. Make sure your performance is crazy. Because not only can you already have some streams and maybe some of them botted, some of them are real, whatever. Now you have social proof, right? Now you have social proof of people going crazy to your music. It's got your music behind it. They're doing this, they're doing that, and it's going off, right? So it's like, okay, not only does he have 100,000 streams, look, there's 200 people up there screaming his name and going crazy. So it's true. Let's get it. Let's follow him, right? So, just the streams is not enough. You need social proof. So make sure that your performances are amazing. Make sure, you're out there, you're doing your tracks and not just with the song playing in the background. You actually know your words. You're spitting the lyrics. You're having a good time. You're dancing. You're doing whatever you're doing. You have a show for people. It's the costume, whatever it is, to make your show stand out. And just network from there. That's one of the biggest things to do. If your song isn't really performing the way you want it to, you get out there, you perform, you shake hands, you meet people, and you have to do that regardless, but you shake hands, you meet people, you network, you get to the next show, and you keep going. How to network the easy way. So how to network the easy way, just like I said, make sure you show up to shows. You're performing, of course. Make sure you show up to shows, you're performing. But even if you're not performing, still show up. Still show up. Show up with your team. Especially if there's somebody there that that's in a good situation, that didn't invite you, and not that you feel no type of way about it, but you see that, oh, they're at this show. You show up and you show them support. Because that goes a very, very long way. A lot of people don't want to support other people. A lot of artists don't want to support other artists. Oh, I'm not on this show. I ain't going. Oh, they ain't calling me. Oh, I don't got an invite. Show up anyway. Show your face. Hey, what's going on? My name is Mike Swagger. How y'all doing? Yeah. I brought my camera crew out here. These my people right here. We just chilling. What's up, bro? Oh, yeah. You got to show. Yeah, Mike Swagger, you popped out. Yeah. What's going on? Hey, look, bro. I just want to come support. Say what's up. Enjoy the festivities, man. But, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing. I'm going to see you later. Okay, yeah, bet. Boom. Bye, bye. Woo. Now they're like, hey, bro. Hey, y'all. Mike Swagger popped up. You feel me? Like, yeah. You see, he came with his camera crew. And, he came with his homies and all that stuff. And, they had some cars outside. That's how you do that. You network by showing love to other people. Like too many artists are selfish and they make it all about them. That's why I did so well with sorry, give me a second. That's why I did so well with MIKETV, because I was actually popping up for other artists, showing them support, love, and then putting it on TV, right? Or putting it on YouTube. Okay, let's see. Why do you need to be patient in this game? I mean, the reason why you need to be patient in this game is the same reason you need to be patient in life. Nothing comes easy, nothing comes quick, and if it does, man, like, just watch yourself. That's all I'm saying. Like, if it comes easy and it comes quick, like, just watch yourself, because, like, that doesn't, like, it don't work that way. And I know some people get it, and they get it quick, but they also lose it quick, or they lose some other stuff. You know, they lose who they are, they lose their, you know, whatever. So, like, I would say be patient and savor it like a good steak. You know? Like a good steak. Savor it. Savor the juice. Savor the flavor. Savor the chew. You know, it's not about rushing. It's about the perfection, you know, that it took from, you know, getting that piece of meat to, you know, the way they cooked it, to the way they served it and plated it, and, you know, all that, you know, to the stemware, and, you know, that they gave you, and then you cut it, and it was juicy, and you're like, wow, that's why it's $25. That's why it's a $100 steak. Because it took time, it took preparation, it took, you know, quality to get that to you. And so you paid for it, or you got paid for all of that process. Right? So just be patient and build it. What I wish I knew starting out. I wish I knew more about social media. I wish I would have, like, really, really paid more close attention to, like, YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff. I was out performing and going to shows, but I never really solidified myself in social media. And so I wish I would have knew that it would have been more of a, because when I was really starting to come up, which was only like 10 years ago, so when I really started to come up, it was more about being out there. Like, I mean, yeah, people like social media, but it was like, bro, like, who's, like, you know what I mean? Like, people didn't really care that much, you know? It was like, hey, who are you around? What shows are you at? Who are you networking with? And then we would make fun of those people on social media, like, bro, they just social media people, like, you know what I mean? They just be on social media. They ain't really out there doing it, you know? And now it's like all about social media. So the game is kind of flipped. So, you know, I wish I would have knew starting out that, like, the game was going to flip to where social media was more important than actually being at the show. And it still has, you know, the being at the shows has a lot of weight. Don't get me wrong. Like, you still got to be out and doing things and moving around. But for the most part, like, you know, you could be a streamer and be in a room for a mafia-thon for, you know, I don't know, what are they in their room for, 30 days or something? I don't know, whatever it is, and still be super famous. And ain't nobody seen you. Right? So, definitely, you know, just try to do it all as far as, you know, being out there in social media. But my thing is, again, I wish I would have known that social media was going to take such a big effect, like TikTok, and that I should have been focusing on, you know, my skill level on how to grow social medias versus being out there and networking, which I have a great networking skill, but I didn't develop the skill on how to grow social medias. Why artists burn out and how to avoid it. So why artists burn out, I believe they just they don't want to grow. And my opinion, I believe artists burn out because they say, well, they did it for the wrong reasons in the beginning, right? They did it because they want to get rich. They did it because they wanted to get more girls. They did it because they wanted to go to the party. They did it because they wanted to meet, celebrities. They didn't do it for the love of music. They don't love music. You understand? You have to, or you don't have to, but the majority of people who stay in this game forever, they love music. I love music. So when we go through times like right now where music is like, it's struggling, hip hop is struggling, that's not supposed to depress you. That's supposed to excite you. Like, hey man, I can make a difference. I've studied music. I know what it takes. I haven't been diluted like the rest of these folks because they did it for a bag and yada yada yada. And that's why I say, like, if you are, an artist and you're coming up in this game, especially to the young kids, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a rapper, cool, but don't do it for the money. And they're like, what? Don't do it for the money? No, find out how to get money elsewhere, please. Just find out how to get money elsewhere. Find, I don't want to say a good job. I mean, you can do a good job too, right? A good job, pays you $100,000 or whatever, But like, if you're doing e-commerce and you're killing it in e-commerce, or you're one of the course guys or whatever, and you decide, hey, I want to rap, or you decide, hey, I want to rap, but I'm not gonna focus on that being my money. I'm gonna focus on that being my hobby, and then wherever I make my money, I'm gonna put into that just so I can have some fun and blow it up and put out some videos and not necessarily get clout, but you could even raise your brand. You could use it as a promotion of your brand, right? So, but I feel like a lot of people get burnt out because they do it for the wrong reasons. I don't feel like they really love music. I feel like they love, or they don't even love, but they like the lifestyle. And once that's not appealing anymore, they're just kind of like, well, I mean, it ain't even really worth it like that. Like, because now that's not appealing. You gotta get your life together. You spent too much time trying to be a rapper, and now you gotta get something else going, and it's not the love of music anymore that's driving you, or it's not that love is that motivation isn't driving you anymore. And so you just hear music, and now you salty, like, man, music sucks. All hip hop's dead. Woo. Like, no, music doesn't suck. It's people like that who did it for the wrong reasons, that don't care, that aren't making music anymore. Maybe they were good at one point, but now they're not making music anymore because they just don't have that motivation to chase it anymore, because now life is caught up and they actually have to take care of life instead of just, running around show after show and, with hoe after hoe. So, how to build hype without spending money. Oof. I would say, like, you can't really, it's very hard to spend hype, to build hype without spending money. I guess the only way to do it would be like doing free TikTok videos. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I've never built hype without spending any money. Every time I've always had to buy marketing materials, go to this place, go to that place, and perform, or, whatever it is, buy outfits. So, I think that's a pretty silly question. And if anybody ever tells you can build hype without spending money, they lie to you. You know what I mean? Even if you gotta spend time, you're spending money. Let me see. The power of talking directly to the camera. I feel like it's the same thing as eye contact, right? You talk to the camera because you want to express yourself. You want people, like, everything is in the eyes. So if somebody's lying to you, you're going to see it in their eyes. If somebody's telling you the truth, you're going to see it in their eyes. If somebody's, messed up on something, you're going to see it in their eyes. And so I feel like it's, when people keep eye contact. So I feel like it's, definitely talking straight to the camera, it's almost like you're talking to another person. And so if you can maintain eye contact with somebody, then they're going to be focused on you. Now, if they're not confident people, they're insecure, or whatever it is, they might, it might make them scroll or get away from the camera because they can't maintain eye contact. But those people who are serious and, like, they're strong, secure people, and they see you talking to them, you're looking directly at the camera, you're like, hey, yo, what's up? My name is Mike Swagger. This is what I got going on. They're going to feel like you're talking directly to them, and they're going to lock in with you. But the ones who are like, they see you like, yo, what's up, man? And they get all scared. Keep scrolling, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's not your audience. Hopefully, I mean, if it is, then, you know what I mean? Then look like this, you know? And sometimes I don't even look directly at the camera. I think I did one video where I looked past the camera. Like, I'm like this. Like, I'm talking to like an interviewer, right? So sometimes that works as well too. You don't always want to talk directly to the camera. So yes, does work to talk directly to the camera, but also if you talk past the camera, then you can actually keep some audience. So I would say do the A and B test, right? Remember marketing. So the A and B test is see which one works. And so I would, on your audience, test which one works better. Does it work better if I talk past the camera as I'm talking to an interviewer, or does it work as I'm talking better to the camera and directly engaging with my audience? Why uniqueness matters more than perfection? Uniqueness matters more than perfection because everything is the same right now. And yeah, people might, you know, laugh, they might point, they might, you know, sneer or whatever. But at the end of the day, uniqueness is better than perfection because right now you got to pump out content. You got to get it out there, man. And nobody has to, by the time you perfected it, people are on to the next thing. And that's going to mess with your mind because it's like you took so long to perfect something and then maybe people liked it for, you know, a minute and then now they're on to the next thing. Right? So just be unique and whatever you do and get that content out there and get your style out there and whatever it is you do, man. Like everything's not about perfection anymore. And that's authenticity as well. People aren't looking for perfect, they're looking for entertaining. Let me see. Why dropping singles is better than dropping an album? I'm gonna drink my little drink, but y'all can't see what it is because it's on camera, so. Tasty. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. I'm dropping a hint right now. I'm dropping a hint. I'm gonna drink a little bit of this because, yeah, it's a vibe. Okay, so why dropping singles is better than dropping an album as a beginner? Well, why dropping a single is better, or dropping singles is better than dropping an album as a beginner is because you don't know who you are yet. Plain and simple, you don't know who you are yet. You don't know you don't know even how to put together an album. Right? Like, you have to listen to some albums, and people really don't listen to albums no more. And the albums that are coming out really ain't that good, to be honest. Like, as far as storytelling, cadence, you know, the type of tracks that are on there, like, you know, when I came up and I would listen to, you know, like Dr. Dre, Snoop, you know, all these different people, and you know, there was a way you had to do an album, right? You know, you had to have the song about your city on there. You know, you had to, you know, you was pimping. You know, you had this song, that song, and you know, you gotta have your smoking song on there. And so there was almost like how do I say, like a guideline for an album. You know, hip hop, like you gotta have these type of songs on there, bro. Like if you ain't got these type of songs, you gotta have your club song on there. And so if you don't got these type of songs on there, then you ain't got no album, right? And so I feel like that guideline still exists, you know, although it might has changed, you know, necessarily, like, you know, the ingredients. However, that still exists, man. Like, your album just can't be just a bunch of songs, right? It's got to tell a story. Like, what is the story? We're so into instant gratification these days. People forget that albums have to have a story. What is it about? Even my album, aka The One, that one is, it goes from meeting a girl in the club to what's the next one? I think it was You're My Ecstasy. So it goes to Meeting a Girl in a Club, and then, or no, it's Vibrations, I believe. Yeah, so it's Meeting a Girl in a Club, Vibrations, you know, so then we're out on a date. Then it goes to You're My Ecstasy, and like, you know, we're really good or whatever, and then it goes into I think it goes into me cheating on her with Ride It How You Like It, and then Rock the Boat with the next girl. Like, it's, you know, it's the album is about, you know, a relationship pretty much starting and ending. You know? And so, but you can hear that in all the songs that I release. And then the songs are the songs on the album, and then even the songs reference the other songs in the album. Like, I talk about how she's my ecstasy and vibrations, and You're My Ecstasy. I talk about, you know, how, you know, she vibrated, and vibrations. I can't remember what I talked about. I think I said, you know, something about her being my ecstasy, and you know what I mean. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So they reference each other. It's a storyline. You know, it goes in, and so the album flows. You can listen to it and feel like you're on a journey. And artists don't really do that anymore. A lot of artists just, they drop albums and it's like just a bunch of songs. Who gives a damn? So the point is, or the question is why is it better to release singles instead of an album as a beginner? Because you don't even know any of that. Now, after listening to me, maybe you go release an album. But you should still find out who you are as an artist. Find out what you want to talk about. Find out, like, you know, not only comes from doing it. It doesn't come from sitting there and be like, okay, so, okay, what am I going to do? What this album going to be about? And you can do that. You can, I mean, I don't want to say you can't do that. You can sit there and say, what's this album going to be about? But you still got to find out who you are, like, you know, what that album's going to sound like. And that just takes time, man. Like, don't rush it. It takes time to develop. It takes time to, you know, do these songs and do a bunch of songs and do 100 songs and find out who you are as an artist and be like, man, like, that's who I am. And, okay, now it's time to put together this album. And sometimes from those songs that you did, you might have an album. Right? You take 4, 5, 6 of those songs out of that, you know, 30 songs that you did, and you're like, okay, like, I really like these 6 songs. This is my sound. This is what I'm sticking with. I need another 10 songs, and I'm going to work on those. Or I need another 8 songs, you know, I just want to have 15 tracks on here or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So that's how you do that, you know. And for my first album, I had a bunch of songs, and like, you know, there was songs that I did previously that when I started working on my album, I'm like, okay, you know what, actually, I'm gonna keep that one, and I'm gonna keep that one and that one, and I'm gonna put those on the album. I'm gonna go get them redone, you know. I'm gonna go to a real studio and get them redone, but like, I'm gonna keep those. I'm gonna work them. I'm gonna kick some people off some verses, and I'm gonna make it happen. So moving on, how to get listeners to share your music. Man, that was tricky. I would say right now, and like, I'm gonna just keep jumping back TikTok, man. I'm promoting TikTok like crazy, because it does, man. Like, you know, I've met people that work at TikTok, you know, on several occasions, and they're like, dude, like, this is it. Like, this is how you're gonna get your music seen, and everybody knows it, right? Everybody knows it. Like, once you go viral on TikTok with your music, and creators have it, dancers have it, like, you know, you're up. So I would just say, you know, that, you know, getting on there and, you know, again, you know, the street performances and filming those, and again, you know, uploading those videos. So, I mean, that's the best way to get people to share your music, man, is, you know, number one, getting out there talking to people, but TikTok is probably number one at this point. Let's see. Why visuals can make a basic song blow up. I think visuals can make a basic song blow up based off, just like, I mean, if it has viral moments in it itself, right? People are gonna want to rewatch it. If it has shock moments, awe moments, you know, things like that. And there's the same things that go into songs, you know. I mean, you used to be able to, I mean, not used to be able, you still can, but a lot of people don't. There's like shock value in music as well. Eminem was very, and still probably is. I don't listen to too much Eminem anymore, but he was very good at that. When you're talking about the Marshall Mathers LP, Slim Shady LP, Eminem Show, my favorite albums, and he was very good at shock value and what he said, right? And so I do a lot of that same stuff in my music. And so one of the lines I said in College Girl is, "Hey Black Barbie, you like frat parties and guys who make a little scratch to rap Harley, talk trash while and act gnarly. I don't fuck Cardi B, but I'm smashing Bacardi," right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, number one, I'm saying, "Hey Black Barbie," so I'm talking to Nicki Minaj and I'm talking to Cardi B at the same time, right? "Hey Black Barbie, you like frat parties and guys who make a little scratch to rap Harley, talk trash while and act gnarly. I don't fuck Cardi B, but I'm smashing Bacardi, deeper in the bleachers with my teacher to talk about my chest. Let me get you out that t-shirt." You see what I'm saying? So when I hit that, "Hey Black Barbie," you know, and then the people are like, okay, cool, they know Barbie, Black Barbie, and then I'm like, talk trash while and act gnarly. I don't fuck Cardi B, but I'm smashing Bacardi, knowing that Cardi B had to change her name from Bacardi because Bacardi didn't want her to have her name Bacardi, so she changed it to Cardi B. And then I just dropped that like boom, and like, you know what I mean, hit them with the, and people like, every time I do that, people are like, oh, it's a shock moment. It's a shock moment to get people to say, oh wow, like what did he just say? And they really intently listen now. When you hear, when you get shocked like that, it draws you in. Like, oh, okay, like I gotta listen to what he's saying now, right? And so Eminem was very good at that, and I feel like videos can be very good at that as well. Like you see something that like shocks you, and you're like, oh, and like now you're intently watching the video versus just passively watching it. The easiest ways to stay relevant, I would say the easiest ways to stay relevant is making sure you're in the mix. Being at shows, and I sometimes I know that's difficult. We all got lives. Sometimes we work 9 to 5s. Life doesn't always, provide you with endless amounts of cash to, be everywhere, and you would believe the opposite if you watch these streamers, man. Like, you would think like, oh man, like all I gotta do is social media, bro, and like I could just be at every party. Like, no, you're gonna be broke. Like, and that's the illusion, right? That's the illusion that they used to sell us. And that's why I said these streamers are essentially what rappers used to be, right? These streamers and course sellers and all that stuff, they're what rappers used to be. And so they sell you the illusion of like, oh, life is always a party, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like, you got to take your ass to work, and you got to go punch in that clock, and you got to get your money, and, just enjoy vicariously most of the time, right? However, the easiest way to stay relevant is, have some kind of PR team, whether it's you and your boys or whatever, or, you got a social media team, whatever, but make sure that your face is out there and you're getting out to the shows that are important and filming them, man, and just filming them and doing content like I'm doing right now. That's the best way to stay relevant, and not trying too hard to stay relevant, because like sometimes you have favor and sometimes you don't. And part of my problem was when I didn't have favor, I lost it, and a lot of people do. It's very common. It's not an uncommon thing. So if it's happened to you, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on your grind and, get level-headed. But, when you have all that favor and people are calling you and they want you here, they want you there, and then the phone starts ringing and nobody wants, you know what I mean? And people start acting weird. It's like, what? Like, what? But I'm me, and then you start forgetting who you are, and that's what I was talking about earlier, about remembering who you are, the person who created this character, whoever you so proclaim to be. Remember who created that character, because when people start treating you differently and acting like you ain't who you are, you have to remember who you are inside, or else you'll be lost. You'll be tripping out and like trying to project that character so much that it's gonna look bad on you. Why should you record a lot and release the best? Simple. Because of that, you should record a lot and release the best. Recording a lot allows you to test music. It allows you to throw away the garbage, trim the fat, right? Why should you trim the fat on on your food and throw away the rest? You want to eat all that fat? You want to eat all that garbage? No. You want to eat the best, right? So you trim the fat, and then, you cook that steak. Back to the steak thing, right? You don't want all that fat on your steak. They bring you a plate of steak and it's like all this white stuff on the, you know what I mean? And then you got to cut around it, and it was like, oh, that's $100 steak. And you like, what? No, that's like a $10 steak. And they're like, no, man, no, you that's the best of the best right there. But like, the fat is like, it's like 30% fat, and you're cutting it off, and you're just like, bro, like I gotta pay $100 for this. Like, no, I'm out of here. Think of your music the same way. So if you're going to make a lot of music, you have to not only, because editing is less as well. Like when you're talking about editing, is less is more. So you make a lot of music. Say you make 50 songs or 30 songs or 20 songs, whatever, right? Say you made 10 songs. And you're like, okay, well, I need to choose the best 2 because I need a single and I need a follow-up. So what are the best 2 of these, right? And so you pick those best 2, and you're like, you start sharing them with people, right? Or first you start letting people hear the whole little mixtape. Like, hey, look, check out my little tape. Like, okay, and check this one out. And they're like, damn, like, okay, but I like that one. I really like that one. And you're like, okay, bet. So now I know which 2 are mine, right? So I'm going with those 2. And then you play those 2 to people, okay? And then they say, ooh, that one's dope, but damn, that one's hot. And then you find out which one is the hottest, and then you release that one and that one. And so that basically what it is you're doing a whole less is more, trimming the fat, making sure that you're not, okay, let me just throw a whole bunch of stuff out and see what they're willing to pay for. You know what I mean? And they're looking at it like, ugh, like, I mean, it looks good, like this part look good, but then all this stuff, like, and then you never know what you can do with the other stuff later. You have the 2 hot ones, and everything like that. And then, hey, look, there's some people willing to eat the fat. Some people like the fat. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? So, you keep the other ones and, release them later, or put them on a mixtape. Or, when you start making the album, then maybe you take 1 or 2 off of that, 8 that you didn't release. And you say, okay, like, this is going to be part of the album. Let me work on a couple of more songs that sound like these, right? So, how to keep fans excited for your next drop? I would say just continue performing, continue staying out there, showing that you're moving, showing that you got motion, and of course doing content. That's pretty much it. Like, just showing that you're moving around, showing that you're a human being as well. I believe like a lot of people don't do. I feel like, let me jump to that. I feel like people's lives seem so curated, and they don't think about showing that, hey, I'm a human being. And that's what streamers do. That's why they're so popular. It's just like reality TV, right? Reality TV. And we don't really have reality TV anymore. So guess who took that over? Streamers took that over. Right? So really all streamers are reality TV, and it's just packaged differently. Crazy, right? So I feel like a lot of people don't show that about their lives. They're so curated, and that's why they're losing right now. Even top celebrities losing because their lives are curated. They're hidden. In my generation as a millennial, like the more you were hidden, the more we were like, dude, I wonder what that guy's life's like, and you know what I mean. It just made you obsessed, right? And I feel like that's why millennials are probably one of the worst with obsession, and that's why they were able to get Facebook as far as they did, because they realized millennials were obsessed. Tell me I'm freaking lying. Tell me I'm lying that millennials aren't obsessed, because I don't believe Generation X had celebrities like that. The millennials, we had celebrities, and their lives were hidden from us. And so we're always wondering, man, I wonder what it's like to grow up and, be Usher. I wonder what it's like to grow up and be freaking, Michael Jackson. Or, I wonder what it's like to grow up and be Arnold Schwarzenegger. And live his life and just wake up like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I wonder what that would be like. Nobody want to know what it's like to wake up and be Diddy. Right? Nobody, man, you know, what is what it's like to wake up and be Diddy, you know what I mean? Like, no. But no, so, you know, yeah, like, it's just like, I believe millennials were so obsessed, and that's why Facebook did as well as it did. I think they did a study on that, and it was just very addicting. People were obsessed with where other people were, you know, how they're doing in their lives, yada yada yada. It's like the celebrity effect, right? You know, and so I think now it's about giving all of that to people to see, you know, giving access to people to see your life. And I feel like a lot of people still haven't caught on to that yet. So I do feel, you know, as far as entertainers and celebrities, and, you know, even if they have caught on, they're like, no, I don't care, I don't want to do it, I got my money. So there's a big wide open window for people like us who still want to do that and still don't mind sharing our lives, to get out there and show people, hey, look, we're just normal people doing what we do, having fun, enjoying the world, and, you know, maybe you should follow me, right? Simplest way to stand out as an artist, be the purple cow. Be the purple cow. I've lived my life by that, and my artist life. Be the purple cow. Like, don't be like everybody else. That's it. Like, how to stand out, just stand out. Like, don't do everything like everybody else. And I know it seems cliche to say, like, oh, well, just, you know, be unique, like, but it's not easy. But it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. Be the purple cow. When I heard that in my music, and I think I was reading a music industry book, that's what I started doing. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something different, man. I'm gonna rap like this. I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna handle this business. I'm gonna do that business. And every time I saw like everybody doing one thing, I'm like, okay, how can I either improve on that or do something different? Because I don't want to be lumped in with everybody else. Even when I work out, like I see everybody doing, you know, their regular workouts and cookie cutter workouts, and like I gotta add something to it. Cause I'm like, nah, I gotta add some flavor to this. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta add some flavor. It's too bland. I don't like it. So just go out there, stand out, do you. But do it in a way where people want to copy you instead of you copying them. That's it for today. I appreciate you guys. That's the end of those questions. I will definitely be clipping these and putting these up. I'm going to try to do some more questions before I get out of here. I only got about 6 days before I leave. So I'm not sure how much I'll be able to do at the next place. But for now, we have this, and we're going to get this clipped up, and let's go 2026, baby. Peace.